Hi guys, I'm here again for another topic, which is standard form. So we can use standard form to represent large numbers or very small numbers. So in this standard form, we also make use of the law of indices, but the numbers are only expressed in one base, which is a base 10. So we've got the plus powers of 10 for big numbers and negative powers of 10 for small numbers. Now we're going to look at some examples, but before I do that, I need to write a number which is not in standard form, and I'll give you the reason why. So we've got 13 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 6. This is not in standard form because 13 is larger than 10. All right, now we've got another example, 0.75 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 5. This is not also in standard form because 0.75 is less than 1. Now we're going to look at some examples now. So example, we've got 8,400. I'm changing this to standard form. So in order to change it to standard form, I'll have to count how many spaces. That would be how I'm going to write my answer. So let's assume that my decimal is at the end of the 0. So I will go backwards. 1, 2, 3. I'm stopping here because it's between 1 and 9.9 reoccurring. So my answer to this question is going to be 8.4 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 3. Now we'll give another example. 67200. So if I'm doing this, I'll assume my decimal point is at the end of the 0, so I have to go backwards again, count how many times, and that will be how I'm going to put my answer in standard form. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I can see putting my decimal point in between 6 and 7 will make my numbers between 1 and 9.9. So this will be 6.72 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 5. So we're going to take an example where we've got negative powers of 10 for smaller numbers. So an example would be 0.00036. If I'm changing this to standard form, remember for the plus powers, I moved my decimal towards the left. So for the negative powers of 10 for smaller numbers, I'm going to move this decimal towards the right until I get between 1 and 9.9. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So my answer to this question is going to be 3.6 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power minus 4. It is minus 4 because I've got zeros. Is less than 1. All right, it's less than 1. That's why it is minus 4. Now if I have another example, 0.097, changing this to standard form, my answer is going to be, I'll move this decimal again, 1, 2. So my answer is going to be 9.7 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of minus 2. So we can see that all the numbers that we have are between 1 and 9.9 reoccurring. Okay, we're going to be looking at calculating with standard form. So when multiplying numbers in standard form, we multiply the numbers and then we add the powers. Remember, I said before that standard form makes use of the law of indices. So we're going to be looking at that in our examples. And then when dividing numbers in standard form, we divide the numbers and then we subtract the powers. So if we have an example, four 0.1 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 6 multiplied by 3 times 10 all raised to the power of 9. So what I'm going to do is to multiply the numbers first and then add their powers. So 4.1 multiply by 3. So if we're going to use a calculator, so we've got 4.1 multiply by 3. If it gives you this in fractions, we have to press the SD to give us 12.3. So we've got 12.3 multiply by, we've got this 10 raised to the power of 6 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 9. That will give me 10 raised to the power of 15 because I've added the indices. So if I have 10 raised to the power of 15, it's not yet in standard form. So what I'm going to do is to move this decimal one space to the right, 1. So my answer is 1.23 multiplied by 10, not all raised to the power of 15, but plus the 1 that we moved. So plus 1 will give me 16. So this is our answer for this. So if I do another example, 4.5 times 10 raised to the power of 5 times 2 times 10 raised to the power of 2. So we use our calculator again. 4.5 multiplied by 2 will give me 9. So that will be 9 multiply, and I've got 10 to the power of 5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 2. So if I add 5 and 2, that will give me 10 all raised to the power of 7. So my answer is going to be 10 raised to the power of 7. All right, we'll do the example when we're given division. An example when we're given division. So we use another, we get 4.5 times 10 raised to the power of 5 divided by 3 times 10 all raised to the power of 2. So because it's division, we're going to divide the numbers and then subtract the powers. So dividing the numbers, 3 here, 4.5. So how many 3's can I get from 4? How many 3's can I get from 4? I can only get 1, and I've got 1 left. So, but before I move that 1 over here, I need to put my decimal. So the 1 is now here. So how many 3's can I get in 15? I get 5. So my answer is 1.5. Now I look at the indices, the powers of 10, minus 2. That will give me 10 to the power of 3. So my answer is going to be 1.5 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 3. Okay, so let's do another example with the division. I've got 8.4 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 7 divided by 4 times 10 all raised to the power of 2. So we do the same, we divide the numbers and then we subtract their powers. So 4, 8.4. So how many times can we get 4 from 8? We can get 2 4s in 8. Now we put the decimal. How many 4s can I get in 4? I can get 1. All right. So now I've got 10 to the power of 7, take away 2. That will give me 10 to the power of 5. So my answer is going to be 2.1 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 5. Right. So let's do one more example with the multiplication. This is a different one. 5.3 times 10 all raised to the power of 4 multiply by 2 times 10 all raised to the power of 3. So I've got to multiply the numbers and then I'll add the indices. So if I use my calculator again to do 5.3 multiplied by 2, that will give me another fraction, and then I press the SD, which will give me 10.6. So 5.3 multiplied by 2 will give me 10.6. So what I do is move this decimal one space, 1. So that will give me 1.06. Now I move to the indices. 10 to the power of 4 times 10 to the power of 3 will give me 10 to the power of 7. I moved one space, so that one space I'm going to add 1 to give me 10 raised to the power of 8. So my final answer would be 1.06 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 8. Right. So now let's do converting to ordinary numbers. All right, if I've got 2.9 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power of 3. Now if I write out this 2.9, I've got 3 all raised to the power of 3, which means I've got 3 zeros. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 3 spaces to the right to get to my ordinary number. So this is standard form. Now I need to change this standard form to ordinary numbers. So what I'm going to do is count 3 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3. I fill in the spaces. So my answer here is going to be 2900. Now if we do another example, 9.1 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power minus 5. I'm changing this to standard form. So I know that this is minus 5. So remember, when it is positive, it goes to the right when we're changing the standard form to ordinary numbers. So for this one, 9.1, because it's negative, I'm going to move 5 spaces to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to fill in this. So my answer here is 0.000091. Let's do one last example, the last example for this question, this type of questions. I've got 3.6 multiplied by 10 all raised to the power minus 4. So if I write out the 3.6, because it's negative, I'm moving towards the left 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I fill it in. So my answer is going to be 0.00036. All right, guys, this is where I'm going to stop for this standard form topic. If you understand it, just subscribe and like the video and suggest more videos for me to do. All right, bye.